Good morning. This is George Kahn, and this is today's Quiet Echo. There is a man who has come into my deli on Tuesday mornings for the better part of 20 years now. He orders the same thing every single week, the pastrami on rye, hot, with a pickle on the side. I know his order so well I start making it the moment I see his truck pull into the lot. Then, about a month ago, he started ordering the egg sandwich instead. He told me he was watching his cholesterol. So I made him the egg sandwich and I did not say one word about it, because the egg sandwich is $2 cheaper than the pastrami, and a man is allowed to keep his own reasons to himself. Now, I have stood behind this same counter for a long time, long enough to know the difference between a man who is watching his cholesterol and a man who is watching his wallet. They order the very same way. They tell you the very same thing. And after enough years, you learn to hear the second reason sitting quietly underneath the first one. And it is not just him. In the last few months, I have watched a whole string of small changes like it come across my counter. The family who always got 4 sandwiches now gets 3 and splits the 4th one down the middle. The fellow who always added a side now takes the sandwich plain. The woman who came in every Friday now comes in every other Friday. And not one of them ever says a single word about money. People do not. It is not how it is done. Now, the newspaper has been busy explaining the why of it. The country's cattle herd is the smallest it has been in 75 years. Not since 1951 have there been so few head of cattle in this country. Years of drought thinned the herd out, and the ranchers have not built it back up yet, and so the price of beef has climbed and climbed, with more climbing still expected before this year is done. I read all about it in the slow hour, the one between the breakfast rush and the lunch crowd, and it is a good thing to know the why. But the why is not the thing I am thinking about when I am standing there making the egg sandwich. I have cut meat for a living since I was 12 years old. I know the price of a brisket the way some men know the price of gasoline. In my bones. Without looking it up. When it climbs, I feel it in my hands long before I ever see it written on an invoice. The newspaper and I both noticed the very same thing this year. We just happened to notice it from 2 different sides of the counter. I have been doing this work for 31 years now, and I will tell you something. The counter knows before the news does. Long before a single number ever comes out in a report, the orders start to change. In the good years, people add the side and take the bigger sandwich. In the hard years, they get careful. After enough time, you can read a whole year just by what the town orders in it. The newspaper counts the herd. It counts the price for every pound. It counts what the restaurants down in the city are paying and what they have to charge in order to make it back. Those are real and honest numbers, and somebody surely ought to count them. But there is one number nobody counts at all. Nobody counts the man who orders the egg sandwich and calls it his cholesterol. Nobody counts the 4th sandwich split into 2 halves. Nobody counts the small and quiet arithmetic a working family does, standing right there in the doorway of a deli before they decide what they are able to have today. It does not show up in a single report anywhere. It shows up at my counter, one order at a time. Last week, a young father came in and ordered himself a single sandwich. He told me he had already eaten a big breakfast at home. Now, I have known this young man since he was a boy, and I did not believe him for a second. But I wrapped up his one sandwich, and I wished him a good day, and I let the thing stand. Because it was a kind lie, and it was his to tell. And here is what really gets me. The dignity of it. Nobody is complaining. Nobody is asking me to feel one bit sorry for them. A man who has had to trade away his Tuesday pastrami for a cheaper breakfast does not want to have a conversation with me about it. He wants his egg sandwich. He wants his change. He wants his morning. And the very least I can do, the very least, is hand him all 3 of those things without ever making him explain himself. This is the part the price reports always miss. The squeeze is real. It is. But the people who are caught inside of it are not asking to be counted up by anybody. They are just quietly getting on with a little bit less. And a town is held together, far more than most people ever realize, by how gently we let one another do it. So here is the small thing I want to leave you with this morning. And you can do it too wherever your own counter happens to be. When somebody steps up in front of you and orders smaller than they used to, and they hand you a reason which is not quite the real reason, you take the reason. You make the sandwich, and you give them their morning. You are never going to see all of a person's arithmetic. Not all of it, but you can see the person who is standing right there doing it, right in front of you. So be kind to it. Cedar Valley News has a group on Facebook. If you have something to add, you are welcome there. Tell us about a small swap you have made lately, or one you have watched somebody else make with dignity. I will put the link in the show notes. This is George Kahn, your host for today's Quiet Echo. Thanks for listening. Quiet Echo is part of the fictional Cedar Valley News series, written by Evan Swenson, publisher, and Claude Marshall, AI developmental editor. While the people in town of Cedar Valley are fictional, the United States cattle herd figures and the rising beef prices described in this episode are real.
You've been listening to the Cedar Valley News Podcast, where small-town voices meet the headlines shaping our world. From faith and family to front porches and fields. We'll be back with more stories connecting real lives to real events. Until next time, keep your porch light on, your faith strong, and your heart open. This is Cedar Valley News.